Welcome to the MAPS Canada webinar series. My name is Shannon Smedella, and I'm your host for the series, as well as a volunteer for MAPS Canada. We are extremely excited to have you join us for our second episode of the webinar series. Throughout the next few months, we have an amazing selection of speakers, luminaries, scientists, doctors, and visionaries lined up just for you. We've gathered some of the best in the field, 12 additional speakers to be exact, to share some important information and their take on the psychedelic renaissance. Before we begin today, in reverence for equality and oneness around the world, we'll be showing our respect by taking a moment of silence. The goal is to stand in solidarity with those that are standing up for what is right. So please join us in a few moments of silence. Thank you. For those of you who are joining us who are not familiar with MAPS, I'm happy to share with you a brief introduction. MAPS Canada, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, is a registered charitable nonprofit Canadian organization and is an affiliate organization of the original MAPS based out of Santa Cruz, California, which was founded in 1986. MAPS Canada furthers its mission by providing evidence-based, honest public education about the risks and benefits of psychedelics, supporting scientific research into many aspects of psychedelics, including treatments for medical conditions, neuroscience, creativity, and spirituality, planning, conducting, and publishing scientific research for psychedelic medicines, developing psychedelics into prescription medicines, and training psychedelic therapists, working to establish a network of treatment centers that can provide this service in the context of professional best practices. For more information on MAPS, you can visit the website at mapscanada.org. The funds raised from this webinar will go to a series of research projects that MAPS is currently working on. These include eating disorder studies, cognitive processing therapy for PTSD, and ibogaine treatments. For more information on these, you can see our fundraiser page, Support Psychedelic Science. So before we get to our guest speaker here today, I have a few housekeeping items. The full webinar will be approximately an hour and a half. We will start with a talk from our guest, Shuni Giron, who I'll be introducing here in a moment. She's joining us from Guatemala today. And after that, we will start our question and answer session. So as you can see at the bottom of the screen, it says ask a question. Please enter all of your questions into the box at the bottom of the screen. If you notice, we can also vote up questions, and those questions will have priority. Also, on the side, you might notice that we also have a chat. So feel free to be active in the chat. Give us a shout out. Seeing here, we have people from Vancouver, we have Ottawa, we have New Brunswick, we have Brazil, Toronto, Florida, Ontario. Hi from home. Hi to everyone at home. Westport, Ontario, Italy, Edmonton, West Bolton, Quebec, Corunna, Calgary, Mexico. So make sure and give us a shout out. Say where you're coming from. Santa Cruz. Hi, Santa Cruz. And feel free to use the chat between yourselves there. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you plant healer and shaman Shuni Giron. Nan Shuni Giron is an internationally recognized Guatemalan ceremonial leader and Mayan Ajq'iij. She does Mayan calendars daykeeper, and she's also a spiritual guide. She has a doctorate in naturopathic medicine and alternative therapies. She is a shamanic plant healer and teacher that specializes on spiritual psychotherapy and shamanic rituals. She has led many Mayan sacred fires and psychotherapeutic collective and individual sessions around the world. She is a spokesperson for conscious psychedelics and indigenous summits and international world festivals. She has performed countless Mayan fire and plant ceremonies around the world. She has collaborated with MAPS Canada and has appeared in many shows, shamanic documentaries, and television series for the History Channel and on the Story of God as a co-star with Sir Morgan Freeman for the National Geographic Society. Nan Shuni is a lifelong environmentalist. Her family founded ARCAS 30 years ago, which is an association for wildlife rescue in Guatemala, and believes that our relationship to nature and earth are vital to personal health and the health of the planet. Through fire ceremonies, classes, and individual sessions, Shuni offers opportunities to connect to the natural world and to the sacred in all things. She also facilitates workshops in sustainability and earth healing ceremonies. Nan Shuni Giron founded Kame, a nonprofit organization dedicated to the transformation of the human spirit through use of alternative therapies, active consciousness, environmental awareness, and artistic performance. Nan Shuni Giron continues to study and research sacred plants, teach, and conduct many types of ceremonies around the world. In this episode, we will explore the sacred intent of all living things and review the profound meaning that underlines the spiritual language of the psychedelic plants. What is the message that they want to communicate to us human beings? What behaviors and tendencies do plants have to create for their own preservation and how they affect humans? What is the unity with the plural that we need to integrate within nature in order to penetrate and tap into the core language of planet Earth? And how is Earth speaking to us through these sacred plants? Bringing in Shuni from Guatemala. And just a note, we are bringing in Shuni from Guatemala, so bear with us if we have any interruptions in the connection. So hi, Shuni, welcome.
Maltios. Hi, Shannon. Hi, everyone. Thank you for hosting me. This is an amazing opportunity to be able to share with such an amazing team. I am excited. I am beyond words happy to really bring to each one of you the message of the Mayan people, the message of my heart. Before I begin, I would like to, as always, open in a sacred manner this event. And I would like everyone to just to take a minute to breathe. We're going to call the 4 directions of wisdom, the 4 directions, the 7 directions of the heart. So everybody just take a deep breath with me and let's begin opening this event the right way. So we thank you, Ahau, creator and former. We thank you, Grandmother Moon. We thank you, Mother Earth. I thank the spirits of my land. I thank the spirits of all your lands. I thank for the ancient wisdom that is within us at this moment. Today in the Mayan calendar, it is in a very important day. It is the energy of 7 Ahpu, Bukuk Ahpu, which holds the energy of the highest enlightenment of the year. We are in the cycle of Jawar that brings awareness, and together they bring a magical combination of the highest enlightenment through the power of awareness. So I'm going to call the 4 directions so we can bring this intent of awareness in each one of us. Take another deep breath, please. I call upon the energy of the East, Grandfather Balam Kitse and Grandmother Paluna, where the sun rises. I call upon the new day, the freshness of the opportunity that each one has in every moment in our lives. I call upon the energy of the light and the East to enlighten each one of us in these moments of turmoil across the world. I call upon the power of the East to allow each one of us to connect with the passion of our hearts, the passion in our minds. I call upon the power of the East to be with us now. Now take another breath. I call upon the power of the West, Grandfather Balamacab and Grandmother Chomija, where the sun sets, the power of the earth, the power of the plants, the sacred soil that each one of us step every day. We are thankful for everything that we have, for everything that we acquire and everything that we eat. I call upon the sacred West to teach us how to walk in sacred in every step that we have, to protect the planet, to protect our species. And I want to remind each one of us that when the sun sets, the night comes. And it is an opportunity for each one of you to dream high, to rest well, and to bring those dreams of realization. I call upon the West to remind us that within dark times, there's always a bright light. I call upon the spirit of the West to be with us now. Take another good one, a good breath. I call upon the spirit of the North, Grandfather Ikpalam and Grandmother Kakishaha, the spirit of the great winds, the spirits of the North. I call upon the spirits of the North for great wisdom. May we talk words of wisdom in this moment. May we bring the winds of change in this moment. May our winds be transparent. May we remember our ancestors that are with us in this moment. And may we bring the purity of spirit with us now. One more breath. I call upon the spirit of the South, Grandmother, Grandfather Mahukuta, and Grandmother Sununya, hummingbird of the lake. I thank the spirits of the water of our planets, the spirit of the emotions in our bodies. I call upon the spirits of the land and the seeds. I call upon the spirit of the sacred waters, rivers, oceans, spring waters. To each one of us, I ask for the fluidity of the spirit, and I ask the power of the water to be with us now. I call upon heart of heaven and the power of the ancestors to be with us, higher spirits to be with us. I call upon the power of the heart of earth, the reawakening of our mothers, the recognition her as a living being, intelligent. And I call upon the power of our own hearts. Everybody put your hands in your hearts. We call upon the power of our hearts to be present, to be here, and to allow each one of us to embrace all life as sacred life. I call upon the power of our spirits to be with us now. Well, thank you, everyone. Slowly come back. Before I begin this webinar, I would like to dedicate these words to my daughter, who's probably watching 3,000 miles from here, and to my family and my mother. And I want to dedicate this webinar to the spirit of Maria Sabina, who is the greatest Mazatec curandera of Mexico. That is often in my spiritual ceremonies with me, guiding me. I have promised Maria Sabina that I will restate and I will take the stigma out of these sacred medicines, the Teononacal. So, with all my love, I would like to introduce the the sacred language about plants, and to introduce a little bit of my work. I want to thank you, Shannon, and I want to thank MAPS once again for the opportunity. And I want to tell you that it is very fortunate for me to be here in Guatemala, transmitting from a special site, because my home is the last subdivision of a Mayan site called Caminal Huyu. That is the place where they found the mushroom stones. So I am literally here about 5 kilometers from where they were found. And so we are here, and I want to dedicate this to the sacred ancestors of this land. I have traveled the world sharing many Mayan ceremonies. And for the first 10 years of my career, I didn't use plant medicine. I I traveled the world, bringing cacao ceremonies and bringing the fire ceremonies. The fire ceremonies have really subsisted the test of time, and I have learned so much about spirit and about the different fields um, of the earth, that I've learned so much more, so much not doing medicine, that it has allowed me to connect the magic of the Mayan medicine in the Mayan ceremonies. My work it's very shamanic in nature. I work with the Mayan calendars, and I am a Mayan astrologer. So my rituals have been very different in the sense of clinical trials. My work has really uh, been a work not just with people, but also with nature. I do a lot of fire ceremonies with the land, where I feel that my purpose is to reconcile the spirit of the land, as well as I reconcile the spirit of human beings. Um, so part of my work has been really focusing on the intent of all things. From early age, in our Mayan lands, we are taught that everything is sacred, life is sacred, everything has a spirit, living and non-living. For the Mayans, we take into consideration not just the visible aspect of things, but the invisible aspects of things. And I've been really able to connect in a different way, where I have seen that everything, we are gentle beings, and the gentleness of our beings are really attached to intention. Our intention is probably the most important thing in our lives, because there is a consciousness that connects everything. There's an intention that projects everything. And this is how my work has really led me to see amazing and miraculous things in the shamanic ceremonies I hold. Um, my work is very interesting because I do analysis on the people. I do Mayan analysis on the people based on the Mayan archetypes of the calendar. I also base my ceremonies according to the different days in the Mayan sacred count of days. So it's very shamanic in nature, where I really conduct the study on the archetype of the people. Not also, I do a consultation on the people. So this has led me to see much patterns, and certainly tendencies that these Nahuales hold. So I have almost a prediction upon the archetypes when I'm meeting the people. I have worked with um, in the difference between the clinical trials. I have worked with collective groups in different settings across the world. I have worked in caves. I have worked in mountains. I have worked in the concentration camps. I have worked in churches. I have worked in hills. I have worked in a really variety of different areas, allowing the energy to flow with me with my work. Um, and I have realized that everything in the universe is almost arranged perfectly. I have noticed that certainly things are good for ceremonies, and other days in Mayan calendars that could be very challenging for people. I have also realized that and seen many interesting things that are unexplainable to me. How can I explain this? How can I explain what I have seen that is so sacred, that is so different than the usually healing with the mushrooms? I really have really seen things in the physical fields that cannot be explained. So I believe that there is a world of a spirit in everything. Plants are intelligent. It is an intelligence that we comes with another intelligence that it is us that now is forming another intelligence. There is a sacred language of intention in everything that we do. And this is one of the most important aspects of my work. I think the intention of everything we do, because I hold Mayan ceremonies for such a long time prior to my work, working with psychedelics, it has teach me some sort of code of honor, a code of honor that reassures me that everything is going to follow through because of the power of pure intent. And this is something that, like I say, follow with the right procedures and follow with the offerings. It's one of the most important key aspects of my work. Before I hold a ceremony, I guess I say, there's an interview where I interview people, and I try to get their Mayan signed on, their Mayan archetype. As I walk through this Mayan archetype, there's also consultation. So I get a little bit of more extensive, I spend a lot of more time with the people before they enter ceremony. Um, I have worked with complete families, and I've been able to really see these tendencies in families that are really matching up to the Mayan energies. Um, I also be seeing that this allows me to kind of know the personality of the person before entering ceremony. After that, my work has been very fascinating because after that consultation with the family and with Mayan energies, it then we go into what's called the Mayan ceremony. We hold a true Mayan ceremony where I touch on the 20 Mayan archetypes that each one of us possesses. I call upon them, we offer for them, we have a fire, and I make them think. And this is with no medicine. And I move those emotions that have not been moved for a long time. And this allows the clients to really enter the plant medicine ceremony in a much calmer way, where they feel they really can surrender. um, I try to focus a lot on the traditional Mayan ceremonies where this is ingested with sacred cacao, and each one was we're calling each energy to enter the sacred space. After that, we go into a great process of the medicine. But when they take the medicine after we do the sacred Mayan ceremony, they're already in a state of calmness. They feel like their work has been already achieved just with the Mayan calendar. Because I have worked with the Mayan with the ceremonies, I have truly seen the miracles that just the Mayan ceremony can do. Especially because I've done it so much and so many different places that I've been able to see that they are deep. Our words are deep. Our offerings are deep. And this is one of the key elements of the ceremonial sacred space, the setting that we speak about so much. Um, that I've noticed that from the moment that there's a whole process into entering this ceremony, where I feel that I make people gather in their offerings and bring their offerings, and this begins to move the mind. Every intention is set on giving in order to receive. one of the greatest principles of Mayan cosmology is gratitude. And this is something that the majority of my clients have truly forgot. So the offering it is crucial. When I began to work with plants, I began obviously to investigate most of the Mesoamerican plants. And I focus on the Mesoamerican plants, trying to understand not just my culture, but trying also to understand the cultures of the Mesoamerican civilizations. And I started really watching Maria Sabina and the rituals of Las Veladas and how she conducted herself. What were key elements of their ceremony that really impacted people, that really changed, that really healed. For Maria Sabina, the Los Niños Santos were meant to heal the sick, and for our cultures in Mesoamerica, it has always been plants has always been there to cure the sick. Plant medicine has always been a key aspect of any society. And our Mayan civilizations and our Mesoamerican civilizations are founded on the principle of plants and the principle of shamanic use of these plants. So I started observing what were the characteristics that were similar to my rituals that I have conducted 10 years prior working with psychedelic plants. And I began to see that the candles, the offerings, something that's still very present in the Mayan day today, the the offerings of the candles, the songs, the mudra. So when we speak about sacred language, it is very important for all of us to understand that there's a language in everything that we do. There's a language in our body movements. There's a language in the way we say things. There's a language that in the also in the conscious field, and this is part of my work. I observe I observe the conscious fields. When we talk about the Mayans being obsessed about observing time, I usually tell my students that the Mayans were not just obsessed in observing times. The Mayans were obsessed in recording and events in time to see if things repeat themselves. So a key observation, he was observing the personalities, observing the getting the keys of your clients before they come, having that receptivity to read their intention. It's very crucial in the psychedelic work. Um, so the preparation takes some time, and obviously this ritual is very unusual ritual than many other rituals because it does contain the essence of the calendars and the 20 archetype that are in our bodies. Because the Mayans got this sacred count of days from the observation of the human body, the observation that we have 10 fingers that connect us with the heavens and 10 toes that connect us with the earth. So the 20 archetypes are based on thousands and thousands of people being observed, born under that energy. They observe the tendencies, they observe the animal that they related. When you were born in the Mayan lands, the first thing that people do is they take you to see the Mayan Ajq'iij, which is what I am. And they teach you, they try to guide you and orient you in according to what you was born for. So it gives you this sort of a purpose, and it's based on the observation of many thousands of people born under that day. When you're born in the Mayan lands, your name will hold your energy. Like mine is 12 death. I was born under the energy of the ancestor. So I have a special rapport with the non-living beings and the entities. And I have that great observation that I'm able to take 2 steps back to truly observe what's in the day, what's in the energy, what is in conscious field in the moment of the energy, what is in the conscious field, what is coming into the conscious field as a constellation into the Mayan ceremony. So it's a very special way of working with people. It is a different way. So from the moment of sacredness, when we begin to go get the gatherings and the offerings, which is something that Maria Sabina did, going out to get the flowers, going out to get the candles, going out to get the materials for the ceremony, and building these little altars. There's a connection with the sacredness inside of all of us. Plants are like us, they are gentle like us. We are gentle beings that are influenced by everything we see, by everything that we project, by everything that we speak, by everything that we are surrounded. So it is very important for each one of us to connect in this sacred manner. Um, Having this amazing ceremony gives me the confidence and the green light to feel secure about doing everything perfectly correct to manifest this amazing medicine. The medicine guides us, the energy guides us, and this allows everything to be in a correct manner done. After that, people intake their medicine and they go into their sacred space for a while on their own, and as they go on their own, um, there is this beautiful sacred space that is created with all these offerings and all the people bringing something to the table, not just presenting yourself, I'm going to have a ceremony. So there's an alignment. This is what I call this alignment, and these alignments are for me what I call the physical alignments. When we are physical beings that need to align with the physical things to enter. So it's very sacred in manner. After that part of the little time that I leave them to for the ceremony as individual journey, then we begin to work in a collective way our problems. And this is something amazing because in shamanic nature, because I work with the fire, I work with the elements, I work with the water, I work with the earth, I work with the wind, and I clean the fields with all these elements and I clean the beings. So I have truly seen the power of collective thought, the power of collective love, the power of purity of intention in my work that truly manifests in the ceremonies I held. Um, I also have been participating. I participated in amazing ceremonies where I sing unusual things in the fields. When I call the wind comes in. When I'm talking to the fire responding to me. And so there's elements that are not included in clinical trials that I have seen that come into the shamanic field, that it is, I think that it is worth investigating, that it is opening up to this realm of possibilities of consciousness, of higher consciousness. Um, when I work with the medicine with my clients, I take very little medicine because they are and I use their medicine, I use their state of consciousness to truly be able to heal the other people. And it's something really magical and unexplainable happens there. So I think that we create this sacred language by our intent of what are we doing and why are we doing it and how do we manifest it. So when we speak about the sacredness of plants and there is a hidden language, there is a hidden language that truly goes beyond our knowledge. We sometimes we doubt what we cannot see. But I am here to tell you I have been walking for 20 years um, the Mayan red path with Mayan elders. And I remember that one of the greatest teachings from the oral tradition of the Mayan elders that I have learned is to read the fields, is to understand that there is a hidden language in the consciousness in every movement and in every act that we conduct. There's a spiritual language that is trying us to communicate and to allow each one of us to achieve greater states of consciousness. when we think about the manifestations of what do we see in the sacred plants, we see these amazing geometrical patterns of harmonious information that it is within all of us to grasp. We feel the subliminal energies touching our spirit, almost like a presentation of our soul in front to us. So this hidden language, we are just beginning to understand that we see um, that every plant holds a different language. I have I have tried different DMTs where I have seen a total complete geometrical figures that makes me really like understand that there's this um, universal language of spirit trying really to connect with us in a higher frequency. What I have done, I also work in a very different manner. Sometimes some of my clients come and do individual DMT sessions, and sometimes they cannot do it, or they're too afraid of doing it, or they're too sick of doing it. And I have entered those states of consciousness. I have done the DMT on my own self as healing for them, where I enter their bodies and I go through that higher state of consciousness to heal them and input possibilities of healing. Um, so the medicines have guided me to really use them in a very different way than just clinical trials. Of course, I, uh, I thank for all the knowledge of all my academic colleagues and scientists because I have learned a lot of great things about the mind and the expansion and our default network, mode network in our brains and how all these substances work and how safe they are into the context of psychedelic drugs. So I am thankful for that, but this great knowledge that I have has truly been by being receptive, by being intuitive. I have also turned people down in some ceremonies where I feel that this is not a ceremony for them. It is in context very holy and very different because it is a Mayan ceremony that I hold. So this has allowed me really to understand the hidden language of not just plants, but the hidden language that we all possess. It is a gift. It is a gift within us that we need to awaken to, awaken us to our senses. Um, I tell a little story. I was here in Lake Atitlan, and my teacher of ayahuasca had come. I remember my first ayahuasca ceremony. It was in Poland, in top of the mountains, and it was so beautiful. It was such an encounter with God. It was such an encounter with a presentation of my soul that I said, "Oh my God, I'm never gonna need anything else anymore." It was just an amazing experience. Um, but they happened to come here to Guatemala, my teachers, and we were in the Lake Atitlan. And I remember that I was in the dock when I saw them coming in the boat, and I saw all the team of students dressed in white and saying, "Are you ready to come with us to our second ceremony of ayahuasca?" And I said, "Well, we are in Guatemala," and I accepted. And through the process, so I was taken on this boat to Santiago Atitlan, to a beautiful property where we were all sitting down in the middle of the sacred fire, and we took the ayahuasca, and we were sitting down listening to the maestro sing. And I remember that I was I was three people from the guy that was next to me, and he had a guitar, and he had put his guitar on the back of the back of himself, in a just on the ground, and it was amazing. As we were entering the ayahuasca ceremony, all of a sudden, the maestro was talking, and all of a sudden, I hear the guitar play. And so I turn around, to see who was disrespectfully playing the guitar. And as I turn around, I see, and this guy looks also, and there we looked at each other. The guitar was playing itself, and it was something unbelievable. And I began to realize that there's things that we cannot explain. There is a hidden language in everything that we do, in every projection that we made. So, in order for us to enter this sacred state of self, we need to start projecting with the sacred eye. One of the greatest teachings that my Mayan teacher taught me, he taught me, and he said to me, "It is in the eye the key of sacred living." And this meant so much to me through my whole career and my whole life, because I knew that my projection and intent was the key of the medicine. Sometimes when I put the medicine in my hands, I send that intention and that projection of how I give it to my clients and how they receive it. That it is truly important for me to show. Um, I have also noticed that whether when that there is one thing that truly moves the energy, that truly moves the energetic fields in psychedelics, and that is purity of intention. There's intention and there's purity of intention. The purity of intention that we enter this medicine is the key and the response of the medicine. It gives the shape of the medicine. And this is something that each one of us uh, must learn. It's the way that we approach these medicines. If you want to approach psychedelia, that's what you're going to get. If you want to approach it safe, that's what you're going to get. The consciousness of human beings direct our medicines and how and the journey through it. So it is very important for each one of us to connect with the sacredness of our life. When I teach conscious psychedelics, I teach conscious psychedelics, I teach gentle psychedelics, because it is important for all of us in this moment in time and space to truly understand the potential that we all have. We are all endless being, um, having a human experience. And this human experience, our projections, now we know with quantum mechanics that the moment that we see things, they have an impact on things. So it is very important for each one of us to know that the projection can impact everything. The location, obviously, setting totally make a difference in each one of your medicines. So it is important to always focus on the intent of where you're going to be the medicine, where um, where the setting is going to be. I have been sharing medicine in different environments, and I have seen that this affects everything greatly. But I also believe in the master plan. I sometimes know that, well, maybe it is because I observe human tendencies, and this is so important. I also observe fields of energy, fields of the day. I observe the tendencies of the days. This has allowed me to open a whole new spectrum of understanding, because observation, it is the key aspect of life. Observing everything in life, taking, like I say, those 2 steps back is truly important when it comes to ceremonial, when it comes to catching everything that you need to catch in the realm, in the context of sacred. Plants have a very special message for each one of us. Plants are telling us so many things about different aspects of not just ourselves, but also the different aspects of the earth. They are changing. I believe that as we're thriving in life, I believe the plants are thriving also. And I believe that there is an encoded message that that is coming from the Mother Earth through the plants for us, that we also need to have an under consideration. Um, the connection with the elements and the fact that we have lost this connection with nature has made it even harder for each one of us to connect with our own souls. And it is a privilege of a lifetime to really be able to confront your inner self without your physical being. And this is one of the greatest things that psychedelic can give each one of us in this time and space. A lot of people ask me, how can we achieve greater states of consciousness? And I can tell you from working just the Mayan sacred fire for 10 years alone, that it could be done by those, it could be done by prayers, it could be done by sacred fires, it could be done by offerings. We have forgotten that truly the offering, the Mayan principles, we are called that somos los hombres verdaderos. We are the true beings. But what makes us true? In the Mayan cosmology, it is us when it is we are true beings when we come down to the earth to thank our creator and former for our existence. And this is the code of honor that us humans need to regain back. The code of honor of the pleasure and the privilege of being alive in this and being in this body. And that's what this is, the greatest gift of sacredness, the sacred, the gratitude. We have forgot principles that are really important in humanity, to be able to connect with Mother Nature, the gratitude of nature and everything. It says that the minute that we got put on houses, we stop looking at the skies. We are connecting with the skies. And this is one of the great Mayan teachings, because there is a invisible forces working for the alignment of human beings. I have noticed that in many ceremonies, when there is a plan that doesn't work, there is also a backup plan. And there is also a master plan for things to develop. When we speak about what are the plans trying to communicate, like I say, those geometrical endless figure teaches us about harmonious understanding within our souls, within who we are, within our minds. And this is something that we need to hear. But also the plants are telling us that things are changing, that just like animals are extinct, plants are going extinct. Just like there's challenges in our lives, I think they're telling us about, they're teaching us about a changing in climate, changing in the environment. We all have to begin to awaken to these moments in time, because this is a moment in time when we really need to go back to nature to regain and reconnect with the ancient ways of living, understanding that we are connected by a the plants are connected by all this large mycelium underneath that are allowing us to see that there is a bigger intelligence that we think that there is. And I want to tell each one of you that there is an amazing also connection with the spiritual fields, the spiritual fields, when we hold this sacred ceremony, when we do this collective healing. I am working with the fire, I am cleaning with the fire. And the most important thing is that I notice this is shamanic. In my shamanic realm, I have the advantage to be really able to touch people. And once we are in that state of consciousness, we see that uh, how collective beings come together to heal and help this person, and how we are all humans going through the same pain, going through the same um, problems in our lives. And this allows all of us to feel and create this empathy that is not seen in clinical trials. And it is something beyond just special. It is something that reconnects us not just with nature, it is something that reconnects each one of us with our human fellow beings, reconnect us with with the spirit of healing and why we're here to support each other. This is where we come into understanding that we are not here to compete, we are here to collaborate. And holding these amazing ceremonies has led me to believe in the true power of love, the true power of healing, the sacred mastery of mastering the elements of the field to work together in a conjunctions of universal forces that you cannot explain. And that's where the healing truly begins. Obviously, when I have a collective ceremony, there's 13 people healing you, there's 13 people giving you the love, there's 13 people giving you the the gift of being accepted and being able to share the pain. Your pain becomes my pain. And when you are in this amazing field of psychedelics, this magnifies the field of uh, of heartness, of love, of heartwarming feelings that I believe that it is essential for healing. Um, so there's many things that I could really talk about and into the ceremonial aspect. But like I say, there's many different ways I have seen through many different plants how each one has taught me a different thing. Some of them have been are more violent than others, but the result is the same. They have allowed me to confront myself and have allowed me to confront my inner problems, and it has allowed me to believe that then when there is breakdown, there's breakthrough. And this is some of the greatest things that I can speak greatly about the sacred plants. There is a language encoded in every plant. There is a language encoded in every ceremonial way. There is a language encoded in the way we do things, that it is an amazing thing that each one of us have to understand. For the Maya, no kingdom is greater than the other. Every kingdom needs each other to survive. It is the plural within the unity that connects us with a whole. And this is where we are disconnected. We are disconnected from nature. We are disconnected from our families. We are disconnected from our souls. And this is the greatest gift that sacred plants are allowing us to reconcile ourselves. And as we reconcile ourselves, then we are reconciling with the Mother Earth. We're reconciling with the universe. This teaches us when I begin to see this geometric harmonious patterns, it allows me to connect with the universe and know that I am part of the Milky Way galaxy, that in turn is part of the many galaxies that exist in the universe. And it has opened me up to understand that there are other worlds and they are here. Plants are smart. Plants, they feed off of food and light, and they can communicate among each other. There is a language that they are speaking to, letting us know that it is the moment to embrace this greatest moment, these moments of high consciousness. It is the moment for each one of us and the opportunity for each one of us to really approach this in a gentle way. I go through festivals, I go through different places teaching this because our young children are going to still take it, still going to do the psychedelic plants, do the psychedelic drugs. So it is very important for all of us to begin they tell me to begin teach not just Mayan cosmology. What I teach is human cosmology. I teach the gentleness of all life. I teach the gentleness of all intentions. I teach the reconciliation between us and nature. I offer for I hold ceremonies where I do strange rituals in mountains where I do go there to reconcile it, guided by spirit to do these sacred ceremonies to reconcile the land. There is many things that we cannot see that they're here, And one of them is that sacredness that we can create when we approach sacred medicine. The language is clear. The things, there's many things that when you begin with work with energy fields that are not common to the eye. Your eye is opening up. It is what I call the third eye. So I want to invite all of you to really begin to more than ever in these times, begin to enter your gentle life. I believe that the way that you approach your life is the way that you will receive your life. So entering in a gentle manner, in a sacredness way, allowing the sacramental use of these substances, it's important, uh, because more than ever, we don't want this to keep being prohibited. We want to open up for the world, but we want to open up to be smarter. We want to create symbiotic relationships with the mother nature. We want to create relationships with our families, with our friends, and it is important that each one of us begin to grow deeper into the understanding and the meaning that each one is brought here for. We all have a meaning. We all come here for to learn. We all come here to thrive. And more than ever, we are needed to approach our life gentleness. I have learned in my Mayan path that suffering only causes more suffering. Okay? Ignorance only causes more ignorance. Gentleness only calls for more gentleness. And the plant or the earth speaking through us and awakening our consciousness to reconnect with our ancestral human spirit. They're telling us about the changings, the upcoming changes that they are. And earth is pulsating her eternal knowledge for all of us to be enlightened. I think that as human beings, we still don't know. We still don't know the potential that we all have. But I do want to guarantee each one of you there is a hidden language that cannot be explained, the hidden language of sacredness, of the intent of the person projecting to it. Our eyes hold the sacred key for sacred living. So the more that we see this and the gentle that we become to embrace, the more response of that energy back that we will be gaining. So I would like to conclude by my webinar by telling each one of you that they are here for us, and it is time for us to be there for them, to be ready to open up our hearts to receive what is the true human experience, how is to be more natural about it. I think that we are not natural enough, and it is important to be naturally with every substance, to be humble, and to enter this new frame of life in a more gentle way. The 2020 teaches us in Maya about the Hunwinak, the complete human being with his 20 powers together, understanding who we truly are so we can move forward into what the future holds for each one of us. Maltios, thank you.
Thank you, Shuni. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and knowledge with us. And we're so honored to have you here with us today. So thank you again. So we're going to go into the question and answer. Would you like to take a short break, or would you like to go right into the questions that we have? There's quite a few here for you.
We can begin with the questions.
So I'm going to be asking the ones, we have a few that have been submitted prior to the webinar, and then some that have been submitted in the question and answer. So I'm going to start with the first one that has been submitted on the webinar, which is extremely popular with 17 votes. And this was actually also submitted prior to the webinar as well. So here it goes. Hi, Shuni. In your opinion, Is there a way to reconcile the traditional use of psychedelic medicines and Western psychotherapy? What elements of sacramental use would you like to see integrated in Western therapy and clinical trials?
I think that we are moving accordingly. I think it was very crucial for the clinical trials and for the academics and the science to really bring the magic of the medicine. I also think that more than ever, also science is really looking into these shamanic practices for to go hand in hand. One of the key elements that I think that it is important for me, I've been really wanting to really collect some of my work, is working with the elements. I feel that that is a key aspect that needs to be included in the science field, in the clinical field, because I believe that that is where we can start measuring what I say, those invisible forces that also work with us, those invisible forces that work with the conscious of each human being, that we still not embracing enough. That intuitive, I also think that there will be a moment where these two will come together, because I believe in my work, one of the important aspects of my work is the touch, because it's shamanic work. I'm able to really embrace the touch of the person and touch her heart, or and touch her minds. I remember this lady told me, in one of my sessions, she said to me, well, I just want to die. And I'm like, what? And I grabbed this woman and I just went to her heart and I kissed that heart. So there is this whole aspect of that heartwarming, shamanic, not being afraid, kind of way that must be integrated for really showing all the potentials that we have. But I think that at this moment, I think that there's a moment where we're all going to come together and this will be embraced. I think it was obviously the academics and the science needed to come forward for so we can prevent the provision of these substances. But I think that one of the aspects that they will need to take under consideration is the working with the elements, the working with the fire. The fire is everything in my ceremony when I'm working with the psilocybin, and that's where we use the elements to transform energy, to clean energy. So that is an aspect that I think that it will be important to work with all the natural elements, the fire, the water, the wind, and the earth.
Thank you. So I have a question here that was submitted prior to the webinar, and it is, if the plants could all speak to us as a collective now, what would they be saying?
Wake up, definitely. I think they will say to each one of us, wake up. They will say, they will tell us to look and invest on looking upon your own soul. It is an opportunity of a lifetime to get to know who you are, besides your closest and besides your work and besides your environment. It is a privilege of a lifetime to understand who you are and your soul. So I think plants are also telling us to hurry up. Like I say in my work, I look at all the evidence of the Mayan and how the books were burned. And I looked at one of the greatest Mayan collections of Mayan codices was burned. And I thought, well, we will have so much more information now. And I think that we were not ready. I think the same with plants. I think that we were not ready before. And I think whatever the provision back in the 60s was kind of a master plan. But I think that it was preparing us for this moment. So I think that the plants are telling us to trust who we are, to trust that we are, they teach us that we are more than we think we are. And this is the language. And I think that they're also teaching us about the sacred, and I think they're also teaching us about the sublime in each one of us.
Perfect. Thank you. So where I'm going to go back to the webinar for our next question. And it is, are these ceremonies held as a cultural, spiritual ritual for groups of people to reconnect with the world around us? Or are they held for individuals seeking some type of healing? Would you mind elaborating on how healing is achieved through your work and how it may be different than healing in the sense of traditional Western medicine? This is extremely interesting.
Well, uh, yes, I think that well, everybody everybody is allowed in their ceremonies. Everybody that is willing, they know it's a Mayan ceremony, so everybody knows what they're going in for. I think one of the important aspects uh, where I see the healing is, like I say, is this collectiveness that we have of people helping each other and allowing each other to be and allow the person being helped to be healed. And that is one of the crucial aspects that I think that perhaps the Western medicine will really benefit from it, to be able to see how the power of spirit, the power of love, the power of collective minds, when see how this really heal. I have seen amazing things, just like the guitar. I have seen amazing things. I saw something very interesting in Vienna when I was teaching in Vienna, and I have seen a woman that was very, very, very masculine after a ceremony transformed completely, very, 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 very female. So that was, I've seen physical things where I cannot explain what happens, but that is something that you will benefit from doing these traditional medicines. Also, we are embraced by spirit, we're embraced by the ancestors. We're, like I say, there's this intent of the ceremony and the offerings that goes a little just farther than just doing the medicine to get better. There is a holiness to it. There's a respect to it that allows it to come into a more much secure way. Um, I always say it is my ritual that prevents me from things going wrong. But I also, like I say, there's things, sometimes things just happen, but it is a mastery that is, it takes experience to do these ceremonies, and also the advice of the medicine itself and how you're going to handle the situations. So I think everything, I benefit from the scientists, I benefit from all researches, and I think the scientists will definitely benefit from the shamanic work, from understanding how to truly look at the fire and work with the fire, and knowing how the fire can transmute everything. For us, our ceremony, it's the hospital, is where you come and heal the spirit. Remember, for the shamanic cultures, the illnesses of the spirit is the illnesses of the consciousness of the person, of the soul of the person. So it goes a little deeper into just, oh, I am physically sick and I have depression. It goes beyond that. There's something wrong with your spirit. There's a fault, something happened, so it must be addressed. And this is, I think, that they go hand in hand. I think I have also done, there's a difference, though, as I say, from the collective ceremonies that I do to the individual ceremonies that you do. In collective settings, I've noticed there's so much more power. There's an empowerment that even after you're done with the ceremony, there's just so much energy still vibrating. There's just so much that has been created on the conscious field that you cannot explain. Sometimes it takes me a whole day to, after I have worked 8 hours, I'm still up because of this great energy that is within me. So I think all of us would benefit from both traditions. I think that it is important to also set some studies in the shamanic realms, set some studies in collective ceremonials, and how see how that energy really evolves.
Thank you, Shuni. One thing that you mentioned is that it takes a lot of experience to hold this space and hold these ceremonies. And we know with the popularity of plant medicines that there's a lot of people now holding space who don't have this experience. So I'm wondering who is allowed, who's permitted to facilitate these, and where did sacred fire ceremonies start?
Um, well, because I am a Mayan Ajq'iij and my tradition brings me back, like I say, I have walked 10 years of my career not doing any plant medicine ceremony. There is a very, very code of ethics that we have to go through um, to become a Mayan Ajq'iij. I think that very there is a lot of experience in mastering what I do and how I'm going to answer. And that mastery really comes from experiences of my other ceremonies and that connection with the fields. The Mayan ceremony upon the Mayan lands have subsisted the test of time. When we talk about the Mayan culture, the Mayan culture is not a culture. The Mayan culture is a civilization, okay, that had many cultures, you know. We're talking about a civilization that has subsisted the test of time and still performing Mayan ceremonies in Guatemala. The Mayan, when we speak about in the 900 that there was a collapse of people, the Mayan people never left. The Mayan people are still here in Guatemala, and this is the oral tradition that have passed through generation and generations. The mastery when it comes to the where it comes to the psychedelics, it comes truly from listening, truly observing, truly feeling the energy of the medicine talking to you and how you're going to. It's a mastery and it's reverent. um, it is important to go through a training. I think that everyone can really benefit from understanding the other aspects of what we cannot see, the other aspects of what is holy and what is sacred in our practices. And I think that's an important factor in the Mayan fire ceremony. The Mayan fire ceremony has always been and will still be. I have been very fortunate that to conduct because I do like interesting places, and because I really have researched the Mesoamerican cultures and the Mesoamerican civilizations. I have been very lucky to conduct Mayan ceremonies, Mayan plant ceremonies in sacred sites, trying to really revive this cult, revive this sacramental use. So I have done sacred plant ceremonies in many Mayan sites in Mesoamerica. I have done many fire ceremonies in sacred sites in the United States, such as Serpent Mound, Cahokia, Aztalan. I've done sacred ceremonies in Canada, in Serpent Mound again, and Turtle Island. So all these, I think the benefit of truly embracing um, the fields, truly embracing the sacredness of the land, it's very important.
Thank you. So the next question we have here is from Melissa. Thank you for such a beautiful and profound description of your ceremonies. Could you please share how you work with people after the ceremonies, helping them integrate what they've experienced back into their lives?
Well, that's one of my favorite things. I think is what happens after. So after my ceremony, we have 2 hours of we have about an hour and a half of consultation because you get to know your Mayan energy. Then I go into the hour of Mayan, 2 hours of Mayan ceremony where we make an offering. Then we go into 2 hours of individual solo where they go in their journey, and then we have 2 hours for collective healing, and after that we hold a small, after that we hold a small feast for the integration. And this is the moment where they're still fresh and people are still in the medicine and still kind of in the medicine, trying to integrate fresh what has happened. And this is one of the most important aspects where we come together to understand what is it, still in a collective setting, still in a collective way, where everybody's sharing their experiences and how they was transformed from this moment to this moment. The next day, we hold again one more time. I make them fill a little journal about their experiences and about how this changed from the day before to this today. What has changed, and this is a great way of really embracing what each one has experienced. Um, I've learned this to do this in because in every Mayan ceremony that I hold afterwards, there I notice that something is left like so big, and people are really vulnerable and people are really open, and this benevolence really manifests through their words and through their inner soul. It's almost like their inner soul is still manifesting. So actually, that is very important part of our ceremony is to really conduct these afterward sessions to keep following up and into that realm. But I hold the same night I hold that integration ceremony, and then the next day I hold another integration to see the difference. Because when they still on the medicine, I mean, it's almost like true flowers and pollen coming out of their mouths, and this memory is almost kept and it doesn't go beyond. So I think that the integration process is very, very important because it allows people to express freshly that their experience.
Perfect, thank you. And that actually ties in with another question that we had. And it's some people think that by using a certain plant, they will automatically be healed. Once someone uses plant medicine, is there additional work to do?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Remember, the mind is the drive. Of course, the purity of intention also too. If you think that plant medicines are just going to come and fix you in one night, no, they're going to help you. They're going to help you address the things that you need to address within your own consciousness to get better. But it is not a medicine that is going to work from one day to another. Definitely, the memory will be kept, but it is a follow up. It is a follow up. It is something that you must continue to embrace. It is something that if you learn it, remember, once it's downloaded, it can never go back. It's already downloaded. But it is for each one of us to keep it present in your spirit, to keep it present in your mind. Plant medicines can teach us so much about ourselves, but it is up to us to bring it back to the reality, bring it back to your life. Embrace that sacredness of what you felt. Embrace that empathy that you felt when you were with a group. Remember, people are having very much. Uh, Now I notice that people are having very much problems identifying who they are, and people are having many problems being empathy and being loving. The word loving is not heard, and this is something that they need to continue to open up. Plants gives us the key, but we must be the ones to walk through the door. And when you walk out, you must remember that you have the key, okay? But it is up to you to really continue to embrace the sacredness that you felt. Each one has to. It is not a miracle thing that you're gonna get. No, It is our own consciousness that allows each one of us to heal.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We're going to take one final question here from the webinar, and it is, what are some rituals that you would suggest for people to honor mushroom medicine?
The most important, purity of intention. Purity of intention, it's the way to embrace. We shape the medicine, our own state of mind and our own state of physical being. It shapes the medicine. So I think that you might not practice a Mayan ritual, but just your little offerings, setting an intention for it, setting what you're going to do it, making a beautiful space for yourself to do it, bringing that gentleness into your own ceremony. I think it's a good way of doing, bringing offerings. Remember, this is crucial. We are physical beings that need to align in a physical way. It is saying in the sacred book of the Maya, the Popol Vuh, that our ancestors say they wanted a spiritual sustenance and they wanted material sustenance. The material sustenance is what we bring into our table. Churches are created for all of us to come and offer, and we have forgotten. There's offerings is very important for that alignment, where you feel good with the medicine, where you feel that you're going into something sacred, and purity of intention. Definitely purity of intention.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shuni. We are beyond honored to have you with us today. And we're about to wrap up the webinar. So is there anything that you would like to say as a final words for everyone?
Absolutely. We are sacred, guys. We are sacred, gentle beings that are complete, have projection, we have intention. We can manipulate this web, this matrix of time, by just understanding that when time and space come together, this is what the Mayans call the Nah. In the Nah, the Mayans believe that if you don't create anything, no coincidence can attach to it. So what I want to say, I want to tell everyone to create in your life. Once there's creation, there is coincidence, there is synchronicity. And so by creating this aspect of holiness in your ceremonies, this aspect of sacredness in the ceremony, this is the projection and this is the tranquility that each one goes. No, in our world, we are heart of heaven, we are heart of earth, but most important, we are heart of ourselves. So with us, these last words, remember, we are sacred all the way. And everything that we do and everything that we give and our movements are sacred and everything is unleashing energies out of our bodies and intent. So with that conclusion, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to come and share my work. And thank you for everyone that showed up to listen. Like I say, life is precious. Life is an opportunity. And every day in the Mayan calendar allows each one of us to remember that it's a diamond. Not every day is the same, and each day gives us an opportunity to be better, an opportunity to respond better to the environment. What we need to understand, there's things that you can see and things that you cannot see. And there is a hidden language of sacredness that is on all these kingdoms that is waiting for all of us to embrace.
Thank you again.
Thank you to the Mother Earth. Thank you to our Mother Earth for everything that we give. And I hope that in the future, we can conduct ourselves with peace in our hearts. I hope in the future, we can see the gentle humans again. Maltiosh.
Thank you, Shuni. We're so grateful to have you here, and it means a lot
Thank
that
you.
you were able to be here with us all the way from Guatemala. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you to MAPS, and thank you for all the people that are making our world better. We need it. We need the research. We need the shamanic. We need the love. We need the touch. We need the fire. We need the wind. But most important, we need to be here for ourselves. We need to be present. Be present for your own soul and recognize who you are. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank
Muchas gracias. Desde mi corazón. Gracias.
Thank you. So I'm just going to take a moment to wrap up the webinar here with a few reminders. Thank you again to our guest, Nan Shuni Giron. Thank you to our sponsors. For those of you who are signed up for the whole series, we will be sending out an email and you'll have a password to enter the section to obtain all of your perks. Thank you again to Michael Oliver, who has co-organized the webinar and is doing an enormous amount of work behind the scenes, along with the rest of our MAPS Canada volunteers who are assisting with this event. And very importantly, thank you to all of you for joining us and tuning in, for being here to support this series, the speakers, and this important research. So our upcoming episode will be on June 9th, next Tuesday, with medicine hunter Chris Killam. Make sure and submit your questions in advance via the Crowdcast Q&A. So we have 12 episodes remaining, and if you haven't purchased the series and would like to, you're able to purchase the series up until the end of August, as all of the videos will be recorded. So thank you again for attending. We look forward to seeing you next episode. Thank you again, Shuni, and bye for now.